Another broken plate, another called off date. We never seem to get it right. Another heart attack, words that we can't take back. We are the reason opposites attract. Once you slam the door on the second floor, I regret it all. When I think it through, I can't help the way I feel for you. You make me lose my mind like all the time. It still feels right. Stuck in an endless fight like every night. It still feels right. Even the words can sing, I wouldn't change a thing. 'Cause without you everything means nothing. You make me lose my mind like all the time. It still feels right. Sitting there by the phone.
Oh, we got to get this show on the road. We got a problem. We got a problem. This that you see, this is not the way it's supposed to look. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I'm assuming that what you see is what I see, which is like some sort of like hologram effect. Do you guys see a hologram? I'm checking. I am checking because I can't believe nobody asked me, how did you do that? That is so cool. Yeah, you see a hologram effect too. I have no idea what the heck is happening. No clue when it comes to that. So I can tell you that sometimes we can get a little too fancy for our own britches. And I think that's what we got going on here. We got a little Casa, a little too fancy. Yeah, finally, CK. I'm like, yeah, you're CK, girl, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I do not know. I mean, it's very artsy, Cynthia says, from Purgatory Paranormal of New York. Yes, very artsy, right? Oh, the real RJ Sandifer. I will get to that question. Love the question. That's what we're talking about today. But first, yeah, seriously, that's what's funny. Is you guys, some of you probably thought this was just some new effect I was playing with. Here's what's happening. This has been happening lately. I got a feeling it's a cable issue. I don't know. So I'm using OBS as my virtual camera. And when my Canon is active, or when my Sony is activated, switch cameras and switch back. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna have to do, Mike. So we're gonna have to figure this out. I have to close OBS. It's when I turn that virtual camera on, and then when I go to, I don't know. It's been doing this lately. Switch cameras. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. So just so you know, if I switch in OBS, doesn't fix the issue. Here's what we're gonna do. Let me try switching my camera in. Oh yeah, we're back. All right, so here's the deal. Here's how I didn't fix the issue. There's a problem with OBS. I see a ton of comments. I'm gonna get up in here. What I did was, this is actually a really cool feature of StreamYard. So just so y'all know, we're live with StreamYard. Right? No Ecamm live. You stream at your own risk, sister. Anthony, I will tell you, I don't have a Mac, so couldn't use Ecamm even if I wanted to. But I'm using StreamYard, and one of the things I really like about StreamYard is if I close my browser, or refresh it as I just did, or need to leave, it doesn't end the stream. Okay. So what I did was I clicked on my video that's inside StreamYard, my Be Right Back video. I hit that. And then because you cannot, one of the things I run into sometimes is if your camera was working in another program, even if you close that program and you go to try to add that camera to a new program, you have to refresh. So then StreamYard is that way. So what I did was I closed OBS, shut that down. That's when my camera went away, right? And then, but you can still hear me. And then I clicked on my Be Right Back video inside StreamYard. So I clicked on that. So it started playing for you. And I refreshed my StreamYard screen. And I just literally hit the refresh. But that Be Right Back video kept playing for you while my browser refreshed. And then when it opened back up, it said, enter your camera. I clicked the cam link. And here I am just fine. So this is clearly some sort of funky OBS virtual camera issue that I'm running into. Do not know. Mike, I have rebooted. I've been dealing with this, and it's very random. It does not always do it. It is very odd. It's very odd. So yeah. Yeah. So y'all, are you guys ready? We're going to talk about some fun stuff. You guys are so funny. I'm reading your comments, making sure I didn't miss any. Awesome. Cable. Yeah. I feel like it could be a cable, right? No issue with the back camera. Yeah. Oh, you did lose audio. You did. Bummer. All right. We'll have to figure that one out. I was talking to you guys while we were on the blank screen. I'll be faster next time. Cynthia, you need to get a lava lamp. I'm loving my lava lamps. I got 2 of them going. I love my lava lamps. I actually was about to switch to that camera, but I cannot do that because now I'm not using OBS virtual camera. Okay. Here we go. What's the over-under? I fixed it, girl. I fixed it. Okay, you guys, we're going to have fun. We're going to have fun. Today, listen, I want to know. Some of you were commenting, and I'm going to pull those comments up. Who is not live streaming? If you're not live streaming, say you're not live streaming. But how often are you live streaming, right? How often are you creating live videos? That's what I want to know. I want to hear from you. I want a good pulse check on the audience today. Anthony, thank you. I got your attention. That's actually pretty funny. So fun stuff. Chris says, I appreciate you introducing me to StreamYard. Yeah, a lot of you all are StreamYard users. Not all of you are, which is totally fine. I prefer StreamYard. This is powered by StreamYard right here. So we are using StreamYard to have all the fun and display the comments. So what I want to know from you is, how often are you live streaming? Because that is what we're going to talk about today. So I was totally distracted by the camera issue, and it screwed me up. I was actually doing a couple things right before we went live. So we're gonna wing this. We're gonna go for it. We're not getting fancy. We're doing it. We're making it happen. Louise says, not yet, doing Lita now. So Lita is my mentor, Lori Petrucci. Live Streaming Pros is her channel. She does this thing. It's super awesome. She does it in April, and then she's doing it in August this time. Live every day in August is what Lita stands for this time, but in April it stands for April. Love it. So that's awesome. Luis, is your goal to start going live after you're done with Lita? That Lita, it's a little challenge that Loria does. It is so awesome, and I feel like it empowers people to really take action and to actually embrace live videos. So I love that you're doing that. So it's going to be pretty awesome. Okay. Good stuff here. Good stuff. Don says he's going live Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, plus once in a while mobile. Love it. Fantastic. Okay, let me scroll up. I'm going to scroll on up here because some of you guys were talking about it. Landlord Advocate says, not enough. My profession makes it difficult to get them out. Landlord Advocates, I'm going to want to know why you feel your profession makes it difficult to get them out. I'm going to want to know that. We're going to talk about that. So hang on to that one. That's a good one. Laura says, I have been sporadic, which I totally know is not the way. Laura's been here before. She's been around a while. She already knows what I'm going to say, right? Crystal said, the kids are all in school. She's ready to get back to a weekly Tuesday show. Crystal, remember, don't make it the same time as mine. We did that there for a while, if you remember. I think you went live earlier today, if I'm not mistaken. Crystal's one of my business besties, and I brought up her book earlier, as I always like to do. If you guys noticed, I stopped putting it back on the actual shelf. Like, I don't even put it in the slot anymore. I literally put it right there. I grabbed that thing so much to refer to it, but also to talk about it. So it's like, boom, That's how fast I can talk about Crystal's amazing book. So, yeah, you can get that at thebestpodcastingbook.com. There you go. Didn't even plan on that one. But anyway, so the real RJ Sandifer has the question, is it a bad idea to go live every day? So we're going to talk about that. So this is good stuff. All right, good deal. So how about the rest of y'all? How about the rest of you guys? Good question. Hey, you guys, if you have questions, do me a favor. Anthony says, ideally every morning. Ooh, he's a go-getter every morning. I like it. A morning show. He's got a morning show. Let's see. Chris says, I did a live last night and have 2 more scheduled this week. That is awesome. That's actually really great. That's really fantastic. That's really good stuff, actually. I'm super... My book publicist. Seriously, I love that book, man. Okay, Cynthia's is Mondays, 7 p.m. Eastern now. She says now. So she's a Monday show girl. So weekly, sounds like, on Monday nights. Crystal says she did change hers to 10 a.m. Central Time, which is 11 a.m. my time. That works for me. Every other Tuesday, it doesn't because I'm live on StreamYard's channel at that time, but that's okay. Mark has a question about IG Live. Yeah, we can talk about that. Love it. Okay, this is good. CK says, I was going live once a week, but after I packed up and moved, I haven't gone live as I'm still without a home. Yeah, so CK, we're going to talk about that as well today. Interesting though, so CK has been on the move. By the way, CK is retiring from the military after 20 years. Is that right, CK? If I get that, did I get that correct? 20 years? Thank you so much for your service, for sure. But she's in the process of moving now because she's changing things, right? So yeah. I am dropping a daily video. Well, almost daily. Okay, that's good. So you're not live, but you're still creating videos. That's actually pretty awesome. Somebody in my group says, fell off the bandwagon, working on a schedule now that life is less crazy. Excuses. Ooh, I'm kind of in love with you, Facebook user. Hey, I will let you guys know, I think Facebook recently did a refresh of some of their privacy data and some things because I am definitely noticing that inside the groups, even if you authenticated StreamYard prior, you probably have to do it again. So whoever that was, if you want me to see your name and your face, go up to the description, find that link that tells you to give StreamYard permission to see your name and your face if you want me to be able to see it, and go through that process again. I definitely have been seeing this. I think they did a refresh, so you just have to redo it again. So for sure. Yes. CK, shout outs to CK. She said, yep, 20 years. So pretty awesome stuff. Yep, you probably just have to re-authenticate. Thank you, Kimberly. Okay, there you go, CK. Everybody's like, you're awesome and amazing. Thank you so much. We do appreciate you. Okay. All right, so let me see here. Here we go. Anthony, yes, says, thank you for your service. You're awesome. Okay, let's talk about this. How often are you creating live videos? Are you creating live videos? Are you not? What excuses are you making for yourself? What is holding you back from creating live videos? What's holding you back from creating live videos consistently? Because if you've been around here a while, then you know that creating live videos consistently is what I'm going to recommend that you do. The question, though, that we're going to be talking about today is how often should you be going live, right? So this question comes up a lot. People will say, hey, is a monthly show okay? Should I go weekly? Should I go multiple times per week? Should I go daily? Somebody asked that in the questions before. Should I go daily? Is daily too much? So here's the deal. I think that you should be going live at least once a week, right? You should be going live at least once a week. That is my opinion, but I would love to see you embrace a couple of changes in that schedule. Oh, yeah. So I've always talked about being consistent, right? So here's the backstory to this. When we create content, and you can create content and be consistent. So this applies to if you have a podcast. So we have Crystal Profit, who is watching and viewing this live show. She's a podcast coach. She teaches people how to start and launch their podcasts, but she also helps people maintain those podcasts as well. So if you subscribe to her podcast, the Profit Podcast, or if you're part of her programming, that's what she does. She doesn't just help you start and launch a podcast. She also creates content that helps creators maintain their podcast. In fact, I think her recent podcast episode is about avoiding pod fade, which is, I have never heard of pod fade before. But what pod fade is when you launch your podcast, yeah, let's go, woo! And you create some episodes, and then boom, you are gone. You go dark. It's a very common thing for podcasters. They get it started and then they're done, right? Or they fall off the bandwagon, as somebody said about live video. Hey, guess what? That happened to me with my podcast. Guess what? That happened to me a long time ago with my live videos. It's happened with Kimberly. She's fallen off the bandwagon of her live video content. This consistency thing applies to content in general. It applies to emailing your list. It applies to publishing blog articles. It applies to podcast episodes. It also applies to YouTube videos, and it applies to live videos, right? Here's why this matters. Your audience is busy. Their content, they are flooded with content constantly, right? All the time. They're constantly getting new things pushed into their face, new emails sent to their inbox. In fact, something I've been doing lately is I've been really focused on unsubscribing from emails that I'm like, instead of just keeping to delete the same email over and over, I'm like, why am I still subscribed to this? This is an application I used a long time ago. I don't need to get these newsletters. I've been trying to clean up my inbox, right? All of our viewers, all of our audience members, everyone on our list, they're dealing with the same thing. So when you go dark for a bit or you're kind of in and out, it's very difficult for them to expect to hear from you, right? So I always use the analogy, we have our favorite TV shows. Even if it's like, even if it's like a Netflix show or whatever, or anything, you know what to expect. And so you know how to manage your stuff to consume that content. So think about it. Let's say your favorite show is, the Oak Island show. It's on Tuesday nights at 9:00 Eastern time, right? So the Curse of Oak Island, are they going to find the dang treasure or not? It's been going on for I feel like that show's 50 years old. It's not. I think it's like 12 seasons. I don't know. But anyway, the Curse of Oak Island, right? It's on Tuesdays at 9:00 when it's in season. When it's not in season, there's replays, right? But you know that. You know when it's in season and you know when it's not in season. When it's in season, you know Tuesday at 9:00, you can either sit down and watch that show while it's airing, or you can decide on Wednesday night, because you don't like to stay up late and you like to go to bed by 9, Wednesday at 7:30 after dinner, you plop down and watch the recording of last night's new episode. You know you missed it because it's Wednesday and you know it comes out Tuesdays at 9:00. If you love to watch Cynthia on Purgatory Paranormal of New York, if you love her YouTube channel, right? You know that Monday nights at 7 p.m. Central Time is when Cynthia goes live. So you know, you're like, oh, it's 7:15. Crap, Cynthia's live right now. I'm going to go check it out, right? You know, if you follow live streaming pros, they go live at 1:00 Eastern Time on the days that they go live, right? You know these things. You become accustomed to knowing when to expect to hear from them. So 2 things happen. You want to tune in, you put it in your schedule, and you tend to tune in. You will have more live viewers if you are consistent with your live show. The other thing that's going to happen is when people have missed your show, they're more likely to go watch and see what you streamed about or what you talked about. So they're going to watch the replay. You are going to see this happen. You're going to see a significant uptick in your live viewers if you're consistent with how often you go live. You're also going to see more replays because people know they missed it because they know when you go live. It's the way we're built. We know that Friday morning newsletter, we love to get that Friday morning newsletter from Bobby Klink, right? And it's hilarious and it's full of satire and we always learn something new. We look forward to the Friday newsletter from our friend Bobby Klink. I don't know if you're subscribed to Bobby Klink's newsletter. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. I am. But we know that the morning brew, the email from the morning brew comes every single morning. We know that as I drink my coffee, I'm going to read up on the latest headlines because I know that email is coming in my inbox every morning. These are examples. These types of tactics work. So your live videos, it's the same. So the question is how often should you go live? I would like to see you go live weekly, the same day and the same time each week. If you truly don't feel that you can do that, then you need to figure out a different routine. It's the first week of the month. It's the first Monday of the month, whatever it might be. I will tell you, you can try it. It's not going to be as effective as if you do weekly content. Again, this strategy applies to all the content you're creating. If you have a blog, you need to be doing it weekly. You need to be doing it regularly. If you have a podcast, Crystal will tell you weekly, right? She'll tell you that. She may have already told you that in the comments. I don't know. We got to be thinking about this. So that's that quick question. So tell me what you think about that. Does that give you anxiety? Do you feel like, I got that, I can do weekly? Are you already doing it, right? Because some of you did have a couple of reasons, excuses, right? Reasons, excuses. There's a fine line, right? Kanisha says, I go live once a week on schedule. I am going to amp that up more. I'm hoping it will increase my viewed minutes. Yeah. So again, your goals, sometimes that we all have different goals. So some people want those viewed minutes. Live streaming may help you get a lot of those viewed minutes because your live videos tend to be longer. If somebody tunes into a 60-minute live video, but your other videos are 5 minutes each, your little video on demands, your little short videos, well, that person has to watch multiple of those videos versus somebody's on your live stream for the whole time. That's 60 minutes of viewed minutes. So Kanisha's got goals. She's obviously trying to you're probably looking for some monetization triggers, right? But she's going live weekly, right? She's going live weekly. Chris says, where do the pre-recorded lives fit into the schedule? Good question. Yes. So 100%. That's a great question. I'm going to get to that in a second. We're going to talk about that in a second. Let's see here. I'm looking at your comments about pod fade when I was talking about pod fade. I want to hear what's keeping you from it, right? So Laura says, I think focus and commitment to a schedule will help me a ton. I agree. That's actually one of my tips. It's one of my tips. Oh, CK says, the curse of Oak Island. It's the worst offender of cliffhangers. Oh my gosh. I always laugh at that show. Side note. I always laugh because the narration, if you do listen to the narrator constantly has the same tactic. So live videos once a week. Like it's always like, can it be? Like, what? It's like he's saying, what? If you listen to that, if you watch that show, you'll notice the narrator guy. So funny. An iron cross in the swamp, a road. I'm sorry. I had to. It's my little Oak Island thing. Okay, let me see here. I'm looking at a couple things. Oh, Luis says high anxiety. So the whole weekly thing gives Luis high anxiety, right? That's what he says. Okay. Eastern time. Sorry, Cynthia. 7 p.m. Eastern for Cynthia, y'all. 7 p.m. Eastern for Cynthia. Eastern. I said Central time. My bad. All right, let me see. Yep. Okay, so Cynthia says, I'm already set for my stream next week. Yeah, so this is good. Okay. I love this. So the real RJ Sandifer says, I have a friend who goes live every day at 8 p.m. Eastern. Yes. This is actually, okay, so that was a question that RJ had. So let me do this really fast. If you guys have questions, do me a huge favor, put a Q in front of it because that helps me find your question. Anthony says, I did 6 months straight, every day, 5 a.m., early morning prophetic prayer devotional. It was a high point in my life. I have actually seen this done often. So Anthony, I have seen this done. So content creators of faith, I have seen this a lot where they will do a very early morning live show. And a lot of it has to do about kind of like that. A lot of people wake up in the morning and they read their Bible or they write or they journal, right? They read scripture, they do those types of things. So I see a lot of Christian content creators or faith-based content creators or even pastors or whatever. I see this a lot where they'll do morning shows very early because, their audience, that's kind of the mindset that they're in first thing in the morning. So again, that may not, I can tell you right now, 5 a.m. streams would not work for me. Y'all don't want to see me at 5 a.m. First of all, the hair does not look like this at 5 a.m. But that would not be really the way you all would want to consume content from me either, right? So again, knowing your audience, that's one of the things I want to point out is you need to know your audience. So the question, RJ Sandifer, or the real RJ Sandifer asked earlier, he asked the question, let me find it. He says, is it a bad idea to go live every day? So It could be. It could be. Do you have enough content to go live every day? Right? Is your content the type of content that should be daily? So let me give you an example. Let's say, for example, I came up with an example and I immediately discounted my example. Crystal, I don't know if you're still watching. I literally was like, so Crystal actually has a daily podcast. She has a daily podcast. It's released every day, Monday through Friday. And I thought to myself, I was about to say podcast. If you help people create podcasts, can you actually create content every single day that's new and fresh, or at least fresh enough, daily about creating a podcast? Crystal will tell you, yes, she will tell you, I could come up with 365 pieces of content, no problem. She could. But again, some of that content's probably going to be, hey, here's the latest and greatest in the trends. Here's some new strategies. Here's this, right? When it's something that is ever changing or always evolving, then you could potentially have content every day. But if I'm going to specialize in something that is more boxed in, I probably don't have content every day. And so you're going to find yourself repeating yourself. Now, I'm totally fine with you repeating yourself in your content. In fact, y'all already knew I was going to say be consistent and go weekly, right? I've said that before. So you are going to repeat yourself in your content. But my point is that are you repeating topics too frequently, right? And if that's the case, if you have an audience that has a turnover, so a churn and burn style, if you have a churn and burn style of business, that could work because you should always be restarting the customer journey, the funnel of information to walk them along the journey, right? That's okay. But I don't want any of you to go anywhere. I want to keep hanging out with you guys. So if you are a priest or person of faith, you probably can start everyone's day and go do a daily show and keep them going. If you're a yoga instructor, if you're a fitness person, if you're a wellness person, you could probably go live every day and offer value every day. So my first thing is this: does your audience want to hear from you every day, or are they going to get tired of you? 2, can you offer value every single day? And when I say value in a live video, I'm not saying go live for 3 minutes. If you're going to go live for 3 minutes, just record a video and upload it every day. CK said she's doing daily videos. Do that instead. Live video is about conversation. So does your audience want to have conversation with you every day? Do you need to be creating content every day? That's up to you, up to your audience. And can you offer value every day? That's how I always that's how I say that's the answer to that question. There's obviously other thoughts and ways you could answer that question, of course, as well. So yeah. So here's the other thing I'll tell you. Now, when I brought up Crystal's thing, her episodes are short and punchy. They're not live videos, they're podcast episodes. So it was kind of it was funny. I was like, could Crystal go live every day? Crystal could. Crystal is like a content machine. She never runs out of energy. But Crystal also batches that daily podcast. I know this because she does a live video sometimes and she lets you in behind the scenes on her recording those episodes. She will literally record a week's worth of content and then she has the whole week's content done. She does it in one setting though, right? Luis says, that's my snag, having the content to go live without rehashing the same thing. Luis, what is your topic? What is your topic, right? James is basically bringing it home for me. Love this. So James says, quality over quantity, but be consistent. I agree. Here's my backstory. So my backstory is I've always thought live video was very effective and amazing, right? Been a huge fan of it. But I was never a fan of the whole consistency thing because I didn't want to be boxed in. Ain't nobody going to tell me what to do, right? What if Tuesday's at 2? What if next Tuesday I want to go play golf? What if that Tuesday I want to have a late lunch with my sister? What if that Tuesday I want to work on my course? You aren't going to tell me what to do. The whole point of being an entrepreneur is I get to choose my schedule. I get to do what I want. Yes, that is true. But I finally chose to be smart and listen to all the smart people and give it a try. And so a little less than a year ago, I said, hey, I got to figure this out. I put it in my schedule, Tuesdays, 2 p.m., 1 hour, reoccurring meeting in my schedule with a no end date. Blocked it out. I was like, we're going to give this a try for 6 weeks. I saw such a massive shift just in the short 6 weeks, not only in the growth of my channel, but also the live viewers. As I told you, the live viewers. And lots of people were like, hey, I really like this. I like knowing that you're going to be live next Tuesday at 2, because at the end of each show, I could say, tune in next week, Tuesday at 2:00. So then people knew, oh, she's going to be back. Before, it was sort of random. I was focused on quality, but I was not consistent. And that was the missing piece. So I wasn't creating live videos just to create live videos. I was creating live videos that were offering value, but it was like, okay, oh, got an idea. I want to teach them about XYZ. Great. Okay, I want to go live. And I would always want to go live right in the moment. But I also knew it's best to schedule your live if possible. So I would literally be like, Melanie plans to go live tomorrow. And it would be like 4:00, Wednesday, 4:00. And then 3 weeks later, ooh, another fun thing I want to show them or teach them in Canva. Melanie plans to go live tonight at 5:00. I was very inconsistent. It was very random. And my audience was like, I never know when you're live. In fact, Chris and Dale, I think you used to say, when's your next live? And I would be like, I don't know. Subscribe to the channel. Right? No. Be consistent. Pick a day and time and be consistent. So super, super key here. Let me see. Crystal says, I couldn't handle your energy at 5 a.m. No, you definitely couldn't. And I happen to know Crystal likes to start her days with journaling. I would not want to interrupt that process for you, Crystal, at all. Okay, let me see. Here's one. Austin Prechtel does daily lives for fitness. Again, so CK says, daily content is tough. It's a lot of work. I did daily for over 100 days straight. Woo! So I tried daily 2 times, and they were what I call blitzes. And a blitz, you know what's awesome about a blitz? A blitz has an end. When you say, I'm going to start going live every day, your audience is going to expect it. Well, then what happens when you're like, holy crap, I don't want to do this anymore? So I like to do trials. So back to the real RJ Sandifer, give it a shot, give it a try. If you want to try daily content, try it, but don't commit to it. Tell your audience, hey, I'm going to be live every day for the next 2 weeks. And if you love it and it's great and your audience is like obsessed with it and they're responding, guess what? Maybe it's something for you to try and keep going with. But give it a test. Call it a blitz. I've done this twice. I did 30 days of live video 2 times. One, I did it in early 2019 as I launched my new personal brand. I decided I'm going to go live. I did it to kind of try to get a boost, and it did. I had a huge boost in followers and all kinds of stuff. And people did like the daily thing. They knew they were like, ooh, I get to hear from Mel again today. But at the end of that 30 days, y'all, I was tired. Like, I love content and I love live video, but I was tired. I got, Crystal called it pod fade. I got what I call content fatigue. And so what content fatigue is, going back to what Louise said earlier, I felt like I was repeating myself too much and I felt like I ran out of ideas. Now I'm going to tell you, because I've said this before and I believe it, and I know Crystal and I talk about this a lot, you never run out of ideas. You might run out of motivation to share those ideas. You might run out of courage. You might get tired of the feeling of having to push yourself, but you never run out of ideas, really, do you? But I will give you this. Daily content, I think you could get a little tired. You can get content fatigue. I don't think you truly run out of ideas. I just think that you get tired of all the other things, and that makes that process of coming up with ideas more difficult. So I do think it's challenging to do. Let me take this banner off because I'm blitz. Yes. It is kind of a sports-themed talk, isn't it? Right? Okay, so Luis's content is about the empowerment and confidence building side of this style. So boudoir photography. Yeah, so Luis, you could probably come up with all kinds of content ideas. Daily, it could be a bit much, right? Daily could be a bit much, but give it a shot if you want to give it a try. I think Luis has not been going live yet. That's my other thing I'm going to say. If you are just starting with live videos, do not commit to daily lives. That's a lot. Now, if you're in some sort of challenge like Gloria's Every Day in August challenge, you're supposed to do a daily live video. I tried it in April and I couldn't keep up with it. I was like, whew, I mean, it was tough, right? So give yourself a trial. Get used to it, but don't commit to daily stuff. Luis, I think you can come up with ideas for your stuff, though. That is actually one of my tips. Okay, hold on. Let me check on y'all. So here's CK's thoughts. Love this. And I absolutely love this idea. Each day, she had a topic and a theme, topic or theme. Madness Monday, Terrific Tuesday, Wacky Wednesday, Wine and Whiskey Wednesday for the adults, yum. Thinking Thursday, Funny Friday, Shenanigans Saturday, Sanity Sunday. Yes. So one of the tips that I have is actually to come up with themes. So when you're creating ideas for any of your content, you can come up with categories. Now you can come up with topics and themes like what CK's got here, or you can come up with categories. So let's talk about Crystal, podcasting. One category is definitely going to be gear, equipment, software. Duh, right? The other category could be, list building or growing your revenue with podcasting, right? Another category would be content strategy, right? A fourth category could be something a little bit more random, so a little bit more abstract, right? Things that maybe support, maybe guests, all about guests and interviews. That actually is not abstract. It was an idea that popped into my head as a topic in a category. Probably falls under content strategy, but also don't be afraid to come up with something abstract or something even personal. Your own podcasting story, right? Or whatever. So this actually will help you compartmentalize your brainstorming, and actually it does make coming up with things. Because sitting down and saying, all right, I can come up with 5 ideas around gear and software. But if you just sit down and say, all right, you got to come up with 25 ideas for podcasting. Geez. But if you break it up and say 5 ideas for gear and equipment, 5 ideas for revenue, list building and revenue, 5 ideas for content strategy, 5 ideas for guesting and interviews, right? That's a lot easier. That's 20 ideas, but you guys know what I'm getting at there. So come up with, I love this topic, this idea of topic and themes. I totally agree that that's one of the ways to do it. Let me look. Yeah. So I remember like Chris, that was actually, she's been a group member in my Facebook group for a long time. And I remember she would be like, when is your live? I can't find your live. And I was always like, wah, wah. That's because it's not scheduled because I don't know when I'm going live next. But now she knows Tuesday's 2:00, right? Tuesday's 2:00. So definitely. I appreciated that, of course. Okay. I saw this comment too. Anthony says, preparation is absolutely vital to every day. I'm prepping now for back to school, setting my circadian rhythm. Oh, nice. That's a word that I am going to Google right now. Circadian. What does circadian rhythm mean? Circadian rhythms are physical, mental, and behavioral changes that follow a 24-hour cycle. These natural processes respond primarily to light and dark and affect most living things, including animals, plants, and microbes. There you go, everybody. Anthony, thank you for the Google of the day. I had no idea what that was. So I'm not a genius. Sometimes I am not very smart. Sometimes I'm just like, what are they talking about? But I am not afraid to Google a definition. Love that though. Preparation is key. I do think that's another thing. And that is absolutely one of my other tips I was going to share is that you have to be prepared. You have to prep. So don't just like literally every week. Okay, there you go. Cynthia's like, yes, we're meant to be up when the sun is and down when it's not. There you go. Okay, see? Y'all are smart. Y'all are so smart. Here's the thing. Podcasting mistakes. That's a good category. All right, so here's the deal. Preparation, I agree with what Anthony's saying. So here's how you prepare. This is actually these are some tips I want to share with you guys about going and being consistent, okay? Being consistent. And then I'm going to have to do a quick search for questions because I feel like I sort of lost a couple questions. If I didn't answer your question, ask it again. Go ahead and ask it again right now. I don't usually do that, but put a Q in front of it, ask that question again. If I haven't answered your question, you typed up, somebody I know, one of my newer followers typed a question there. Tips for being consistent. Preparation. Let's talk about preparation. I think you should come up with ideas, right? I have an entire masterclass. If you go to my YouTube channel and you scroll down, you will see that I did a masterclass on coming up with content ideas. I'm not going to repeat all those here. Watch that masterclass. It's a really cool training. I also have a podcast episode. It's like a few episodes ago, and it is how to come up with 30 ideas in 30 minutes. So first step is you need to sit down and come up with ideas. You can use the category tip that I used before. I feel like I have a bite on my leg and it keeps itching. Sorry. Sit down and say, I'm coming up with 30 ideas, 15 ideas. I don't care, 10 ideas. The key here is that you need to come up with ideas before it's time to go live. This is going to give you confidence in saying weekly, I'm going to do this weekly. I have 10 ideas. That's 10 weeks of live video shows, right? Now, one of those categories, if you want a quick tip, is think about some guests that you can bring on your show. Don't just put all the pressure on yourself. Think about, okay, who are some people I can bring on my show, right? Crystal has guests on her show often. I've had James on my show before. I had John Pullum on my show before. I've had Crystal on my show before. Crystal, we're due for another one of those, right? You need to come back on the show. So guests is an easy way you can come up with 5 people. There's 5 random weeks of content. So coming up with that list is key. Then the key is going to be schedule it. When are each of those topics going to be? Plot them out, but also keep this in mind. Just because you put it on a schedule and say, this is the order of those 10 ideas, doesn't mean you have to stick with it. Okay? This is something I've talked with people about, and the reason they tell me they resist the schedule thing is because they're like, I'm not sure. They get paralyzed, I guess is what I'm saying. They get paralyzed creating the schedule because they feel like it's finite. It's not finite. You can change your mind. You can think that in 3 weeks you're going to talk about XYZ. No. What if you change your mind because of all of a sudden something new comes up? Last week's show, for example, I talked about pre-recorded video. The reason that came up and the reason I streamed about that last week is because StreamYard just released a new feature about streaming pre-recorded video. So I was like, well, I'm going to talk about that next week. It just change my thought, change my idea. You can change your thought and idea too. The only thing where this becomes tricky is when you are going to have a guest. I do recommend that you try to schedule those in advance so you can do the preparation. And that I wouldn't say you want to move around. You wouldn't want to be like, sorry, John, I'm not going to stream with you this Tuesday because I want to talk about pre-recorded video instead. But that kind of actually comes to, you could save that pre-recorded video. If you have that situation and you need to get some news out, just do an extra stream. Do a bonus stream. That's okay too. Bonus streams are great. So sit down, come up with your list of ideas, put it in a slushy schedule, not icy. Slushy can be moved around, right? It's not firm and solid. Slushy schedule. So use a scheduling app or use your calendar. Hell, I don't care. Write it on a piece of paper. Use Asana, use Trello. Doesn't matter. Put it in a schedule. And then back to what Anthony said, preparation. Sit down and at least take the time, at least 1 week in advance, sit down and be like, all right, here's the key bullets of that live video that I'm going to do, right? Now, what I would say is as you're coming up with those ideas, you might want to jot some notes about each idea as you come up with it, because I've totally done this before where I wrote down a list of ideas and then I went back to my list of ideas a few weeks later and I was like, what? I don't even know what I meant. Like, what does that mean? Like, I lost the idea and I had no idea what my listed idea meant. So go ahead and write some notes about it. Maybe because you're in that moment of creativity and brainstorming, your mind is in that zone. Think about what you would talk about and put those notes together, right? Then when you're in your systematic zone, actually project manage it. Decide when it's going to happen. When you're in your creative zone, sit down and write, here are the bullets, here's the main things I'm going to cover. Oh, and here's a cool title, and here's a description. And oh, I'll go ahead and make my thumbnails while I'm at it. Batching this work, Crystal talked earlier, she batches her daily podcast. You can't batch the live video, meaning you need to be here live, but you can batch all the other stuff that goes into preparing. So that is key. So Anthony talked about, he's preparing for back to school. He's preparing for other stuff that's coming. You can prepare as in advance as you want. That is up to you, your system, your preference, your style, okay? For me, I don't like to prepare too far in advance because I get removed from the passion. I like to prepare kind of closer because I'm connected to that energy still, right? So it's still warm inside of me. If I prepare something that I'm going to do 3 months later, I sort of lose it a little bit and I have to kind of get re-fired up again about it. but that is necessary for certain things that I work on. But I prefer to be a little bit closer. That's me. That's my style. That may not be you, right? So think about that. So come up with a list, put it in a schedule, and then batch those tasks of preparation to get those live videos ready. If you do that, you are absolutely so much more confident in approaching your consistency. Whether that's, now keep in mind, we're talking a weekly show, because that is my recommendation, is that at a bare minimum, you should be going live at least once a week. I want you to be consistent. I want you to pick the same day and same time for that particular live show. If you have additional live shows you want to do, that's great. That's awesome. So back to that. If you have more content, if you have a daily show, if you have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday show, like some of the other people were stating, that just requires more preparation, a little bit more organization, and maybe even more of that batch work. It's all going to be dependent on how you do your work and how you get things done. I think that the more shows you have, the more important it is to be prepared. So I saw as well, good, we have some questions. I saw a couple of, I'm laughing so hard right now at your comments. This is so funny. Circadian rhythm. Did I say it right? I almost forgot. Okay, here it is. I wanted to pull this up because this is going back to the daily thing. James says, if you're going to go live that often, meaning daily, consider the length of the stream. Can you really do 60 minutes on each topic, or could you retain your audience better with a 15-minute stream? This is a great point as well. This is a really good topic. Crystal, I think you and I should cover this topic about duration, length of time, whether it be a podcast episode or a live stream. I think James brings up something really, really key here. And James, maybe we'll just maybe the three of us will get on and chat about this, because I prefer, if I'm going to listen or watch something frequently, I actually prefer it to be a little shorter. I just don't have that much time. I want variety in my life. I don't want to just tune into one podcast or one live show. I want to watch lots of live shows. But if I'm like seeing that same person constantly going live all the time and it's 60 minutes, 90 minutes every day, I don't have that kind of time. I want to spread my love. I want to spread my consumption. The same goes for podcasts. There are certain podcasts that I love, but they are like 90 minutes, 60 minutes long. I cannot focus for 60 minutes. So the type of content that I can focus on for 60 minutes is more casual content, background content. Many of you right now are multitasking. You are listening to me. Some of you are like, I'm not even doing live videos. I'm just listening to Mel. That's fine. If I'm serving you in that way, that's great. Many of you are here hoping to ask questions, learn, get some new insights, right? So you also have to know, again, how does that content connect to your audience? How are you serving them? And it goes back to what I said earlier, the value. Can you provide the value that your audience is looking for? If they literally want that 60-minute daily stream and you can do it and it's what they need and you can do it, go for it. But James makes a good point. Is it better to be shorter because you're going live more frequently? So that's a great point. And again, I think it does depend for sure. Okay. What was I'm sorry. I'm going to start getting to some of your questions. But the last thing I wanted to say about staying consistent is the last tip I have is actually about your setup. So one of the best ways that you can maintain consistency with your live videos, okay, is to make your setup like permanent, not permanent. This is my office. This is my desk. I work at this desk. It's right next. It's in my downstairs living room. It's in the corner. I made the sacrifice that my downstairs living room halfway looks like Addison's corner, the futon, the TV, and then it's like Mel's office and Mel's like studio. Whenever like maintenance people come in my house, they're always like, they walk in like, they like see this open area and they're like, whoa. And they're like, what do you do? What do you do for a living? Are you a DJ? I get all kinds of funny questions. What do you do? And one time, one time I said, it's actually confidential. I work for the government. And he was like, oh. And I was like, I'm just kidding, dude. Chill. But anyway, it's like, he said something like about intelligence or something. And I was like trying to make it look, I was like a spy or something because I had like my headphones out that day. Anyways, make your setup consistent. Don't tear it down and make it where you have to build it back up every day, every time you go live. This is going to be a barrier you create for yourself, and you're going to be like, oh, I got to get the lights out of the closet, blah, blah, blah. And you're not going to do it. You're just not going to do it. You're not going to be as creative. Reduce those barriers of entry. It goes back to, I used this analogy the other day during a podcast interview that I was a guest on, and I said, it's like people who know they really want to work out, they want to go run first thing in the morning. They know that if they literally sleep in their running clothes and they put their sneakers by the bed and they get their coffee programmed before they wake up, they know that if all they have to do is get up, put on their shoes, brush their teeth, drink a quick cup of coffee, and go for the run, that they're going to do it. But if they have to pick out their workout clothes, put them on, the more steps they have to take in between waking up and going on that run, the more steps and possibilities they have to say, I'm not going for the run. The longer of time in between getting out of bed and going for the run, they know that's that many opportunities to say, I'm not going for the run. This is why some people prefer to work out first thing in the morning, because if they think, I'm going to go at 3:00 today, or I'm going to go after work, they can all day long talk themselves out of it. They have the opportunity to talk themselves out of it. And so, but they know that when that alarm goes off, if they know in their mind, all I have to do is put on my shoes and go for the run, instead of, oh, I got to get up, I got to get ready, I got to find my headphones, I got to do this, I got to do that, blah, blah, blah. They're like, snooze, I ain't going today. It's very similar when it comes to live video, because live video, you feel this natural resistance sometimes because you're nervous, or you don't know if you're going to look good on camera, or, all the other excuses, things that you can come up with, right? So when we have that setup done, and all you have to do is click go live, and you're live, there you are, right? So make your setup easy. This goes back to prep work. So the other thing I'm going to say is equipment, software, lights. Find a way to embrace it as part of your furniture, as part of your decor, as part of your layout. If you have a closet that you're not using, make that your live streaming studio. If you have an extra spare bedroom that you never go into, move the boxes or some of the crap out of the way and set up a live streaming setup. Make it so that it's simple to do it. But at the same time, batching the prep work before the day you go live is also going to help you feel really good about jumping in and being live, because your prep work is done. So I love that Anthony brought up the prep work earlier, because it is another key to consistency, okay? I should have called this keys to consistency. Everybody has keys to consistency. That's a little bit overused. Okay, so that's what I was going to say. Come up with ideas, schedule it, plan it out, and batch the work that it takes to be ready. And then set up a consistent live streaming setup so that you can go live regularly. All right? That's what I got for you. Now, I will say, so Cynthia says, it's so much easier if your studio is set up and all you have to do is prep for the live and turn on the lights, camera, computer. Boom. I totally agree. Crystal says, yep, setup and organization makes going live that much easier. Totally what has to happen, right? Exactly. It's such a time suck sometimes. I just can't do that. So CK meant suck. CK is in the middle of moving. So CK, you can go live on your mobile phone. Now I know you probably can't go live on YouTube. Here's the thing I'll say. If you can't do it this way, okay? If you can't do it this way, like my setup or CK's typical setup, she has an awesome setup usually, then maybe for a while, temporarily, do it differently. Like, be like, hey, this month things are kind of crazy. It's summer. I'm going to be all over the place. So this month, you guys, I'm going to be using my phone a lot with my lives, but you can still stay consistent. Figure out a way to reduce the barrier of entry, right? Reduce the barrier of entry that's happening. Okay. Let me see. Human systems set us up, facilitate the win, and make a genius out of everyone. I am stoked just listening to you. Anthony, I'm excited that you're here because you are dropping some awesome insights into our comments here. So this is fantastic. So I love it. So, oh my gosh, this is great. So Cynthia says, I started in my laundry room. She started in the laundry room. And nobody realized it until she told him recently. I will tell you. So Desiree Martinez, for example, she like literally built a, like she built a little, like she built an interior like closet in her room. And it's her studio. It is literally the size of a closet. And she's an amazing content creator. She's an amazing YouTuber. And that's her studio. She made herself this like closet inside of a room. And that's her studio now. And it lets her just do exactly what we talked about. But she did that so she could have the quiet, but also she didn't have to look at it, right? There you go. You can go live and do this stuff anywhere, right? Okay, let me get to some questions because it is one thing. I am going to say this. So I wrote down on my piece of paper, if you're not creating live videos consistently, or if you're not creating videos yet, or if you've dabbled in it and you're just like, oh, I got to get back to it. The question I ask you is why not? Why aren't you creating live videos? And then I want you to answer that question. And then I want you to keep asking why. So this is what I like to call the 5 why exercise. And I know that there is actually a thing called the 5 why exercise. I can't quote who came up with that system. I think I learned about it like 20 some years ago, but this is not that. But it's similar. I just think that we have to peel back layers. I think that everybody can start with CK. I'm going to pick on CK because I know she can handle it. I know she can handle it. And CK knows I love her. But here's the deal. My child is calling me, but I know she doesn't need me in the moment. I hope. Here's the deal. When it comes to us answering this question, why not? CK said, I'm in the middle of moving, so my studio's not set up. And I came back with, but she is creating daily videos, which is fantastic. CK could find a way, right? CK, you could find a way. You could find a way. But maybe it's just a little bit too much for CK right now because she's in the middle of moving. She's got a lot going on in her life, right? She's just like, ugh. Because here's the thing. It's more than just click and go live, the prep work and some of the other things that go with it. I know that a lot of us say, it's as simple as grabbing this and going live. I say that all the time. It's not quite just that simple, right? There are a few other elements that go into creating quality live streams. But I do think that many times when we sit back and we say, this is why, Kimberly, I'll pick on her because I know Kimberly can handle it too. She is a tough cookie. She's a badass woman at that, Kimberly Ferguson. But she said, hey, I fell off the bandwagon. Life got crazy. You know why life got crazy and you stopped creating live streams? And many of you have this excuse because I hear this excuse all the time. Crystal, you can handle it too. Crystal's like, oh, summer, kids are home, blah, 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 craziness, right? Circus. You know why life got crazy and things got crazy and you stopped going live? Be ready for it, y'all. I love you, but this is tough love moments from Mel. It's because you let life you did not put that live video into the priority. It fell down in the priority list. So the question is why? Because life got crazy, because kids are home. I talked about this in the very beginning, the end of school year, beginning of summer. I said, here's how to maintain momentum during summer. Here's how to maintain momentum during crazy times, during slow times, during, whatever. The key comes down to you got to make it work. You got to make all the other stuff work with it. And if that means put your kids in your live streams with you, if that means the kids are screaming in the background while you're live sometimes, hey, it's summer, y'all. Summer at Crystal's house. Here's how we're doing this. CK's in the car, parked, not driving, and she's on her mobile phone going live because, hey, I'm in the middle of a move and I don't even have a house right now. Or CK is, she finds a way, to pick a location to do this setup. She's on her laptop on her built-in webcam for 4 months of live video instead of her super fancy Sony camera. But she tells her audience, all right, where am I today? I am in this state traveling to visit this friend, or I am today shopping for a new couch, whatever. You're taking them on that journey of the life got crazy with you. You know what that does? Makes you relatable. It goes back to what we talked about on my latest podcast episode, which is, can you get personal in your content? I think you can. And that crazy your life, all the things that you are saying are getting in the way of your live videos, maybe you should be talking about those things in your live videos. At least mentioning it. I just said my daughter's calling me, and if she calls me again, I'll probably hit mute and answer the call to make sure that she's okay. It's odd that she's calling me because she should be on her way into volleyball practice. I don't know. But that's part of life. That's it. Incorporate it in. You're finding excuses. They're not reasons. You're finding excuses. They're not reasons, right? So, for sure, excuses, 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 right? There you go. Oh, John. John is all about this 1,000 subs for me, you guys. End of the week. I got like 200, 300 to go. I did get over 700, so that's pretty fun. Okay, let me answer some questions. So, the other thing I was going to say is that the life gets crazy is things got crazy. I need to get back to it. That I hear that all the time. That's again because you didn't plan. You didn't plan for it. Put it in the schedule. Block it out. Don't schedule over it. That's why I put it in Tuesdays at 2:00. Sometimes I have to move my live, but if you stay consistent and you need to pick a different day to go live, your audience is going to be here for it. Last week I was live at 1:00. Was that last week I was live at 1:00, and I had awesome people, amazing amount of people show up. They knew I was live at 1. I was not live one week because I was on vacation. Y'all were fine. You tuned in next week, right? It was fine. When you're consistent, you can actually have those moments of life gets crazy and I need to rearrange, but don't not create content. Don't get off the bandwagon. Schedule it. Put it in the schedule, make it happen, and protect it, which is the key, right? Protect that in your schedule. The only thing I'll say about this, and then I will promise I will get to questions because I saw Landlord Advocates has a question. I saw some more, is you need to also talk to your fear. You've got to talk to your fear because sometimes life got in the way or whatever. Oh, I'm still working on my plan. I'm still working on my gear. I'm still working on my setup. There's usually something else going on there. So I want you to get used to talking to your fear. You don't have to, the fear's not going to go away. I wish I could say it was going to, but it's not. So if you have apprehensions because you're afraid of being judged, you're afraid of not looking good on camera, you're afraid of not sounding right, you're afraid of the tech, you're afraid of things that will go wrong and you won't know how to handle it, those fears won't go away. The only thing that makes fears go away is action. You have to take action to eliminate the things that you're afraid of. I used this analogy recently as well. If you were afraid to jump off the diving board in the neighborhood pool and you just kept waiting until you felt courage, you would never jump off the high dive. But you jump off the high dive and you go and you land in the water and the water goes up your nose and your bikini bottoms go up your butt and you got a wedgie and you pull your wedgie and you may have to fix your bikini top as well. Us women, that's what we deal with. You got water up your nose and you maybe even have water in your ears. You swim up, you come up for air and you're like, wow. Fix your wedgie, pull your top down, and you're like, that was pretty fun. Or now I know what that feels like. I'm good to go. I can move on to the next thing. But when you sit and you just think and think and think and think and you wait for the preparation, you wait to be ready, you're never going to be ready. It's the same thing with creating content and showing up online. Live video is no different. Launching a podcast is no different. Writing articles, sending emails to your email list, no different. So stop waiting for the courage and go for it. And remember that it's the action that creates the courage, right? There you go. Okay. Here we go. Crystal's here. What's up, Crystal? I love this. There's no perfect time to do anything. Just do it. Totally agree, Cynthia. Love that you added that piece of value. But I got to give a shout out to Pokegal. What's up? She's here. She's hanging out with us. She is here. So she is an attorney in LA. Yep. Maybe somebody asked you that question. I do not know, but she's back. All right, here we go. CK says, I could find a way to go live every day. You don't have to go live every day, CK. Good God. But consistency is the problem in location, which is why I chose to do pre-recorded video. You must be talking about Lita. Is that what you're talking about? That's why you're doing the daily videos. That makes sense. But I also think that you could find a way, but for your main stuff. Let's answer some questions. I'm going to answer some questions because I saw a few questions. Let me see. Let me look. I'm looking. Okay. I know I saw multiple questions. Here we go. Here's one. The landlord advocates. Hopefully you're still watching. You posted this a while ago. I feel bad when we end the show and we have a sizable number of people still watching. How do you end the show in such a way as to not offend? Well, here's the deal. Why do you feel like you're offending them? That would be my question. You're not offending them. It depends. If your show is 5 minutes long and you're like, you have all this engaged audience, I would recommend you find a way to make a longer show. If your show is 60 minutes and you're like, I only have 60 minutes and you have unanswered questions, if people are asking tons of questions and you're at 60 minutes and you have to end the show, then here's what I would do. I would be like, man, we still have all these questions, y'all. Thank you so much for posting these. I would say you need to find a way to follow up. One fun way to do it would be gather those questions you didn't get to, create a video, and be like, all right, here are my questions. We had 10 extra questions in yesterday's stream. I wanted to sit down and take time to answer them real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Be punchy, give them shout outs, say their name with the question, and then make that a regular video. That video is probably going to do very well. If it's a private Facebook group, go in and just like maybe even go live again and say, here are the 10 leftover questions. I ran out of time yesterday, but I had some time this morning. Or go in and type responses to each of those questions you didn't get to answer and answer them. So you don't want to leave open-ended content. But if this is happening regularly, then I would find a way to lean out your show or maybe consider extending the time frame of which you can be going live. The landlord advocates, I believe that you had said early in the stream, the very beginning of the stream, I think you said that your industry, what you do prevents you from going live enough and going live consistently. Again, let's figure out a process or a way where you can work around that. But here's the deal. I do think if your streams are pretty long and you still have a ton of people watching, but they're not necessarily questions, they're just there watching, it's time to end the stream. It's time to go, right? But if the problem is that you're not able to get to their questions and you've run out of time, you're going to have to come up with two things. Either a longer show or a different show format. So if you're teaching and sharing data and information, and then it's like your 60 minutes is up and you don't have time for Q&A, then you may need to do a Q&A. You may need to do a Q&A the next day. You may need to do 2 separate shows or change the format of your show. Find a way to lean out the earlier part so you have more time for Q&A. So be considerate of that or lengthen that show if this is happening on the regular. Okay. I am literally just going to grab these as I find them until StreamYard comes up with a way to flag comments. Does your episode on using the pre-recorded video feature cover the best way to use it for a show or the actual StreamYard setup? I'm struggling with how to incorporate. Yeah, Chris, I would recommend you watch last week's show, but also, Chris, I am talking about the same thing on StreamYard's channels tomorrow. So tomorrow, our show, the Wednesday show, is called Ask StreamYard, and we are talking about this very topic. So tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern time on any of StreamYard's channels, YouTube, Facebook group, Facebook page, LinkedIn even, I will be live, and this is exactly what I'll be talking about. But last week, I did cover that topic in pretty good in depth, but I will also be talking about it again tomorrow. So if you have other questions, definitely ask that for sure. You had posted that question about that earlier. Thank you for asking that again. Let me see. Buy Mel a taco. It is Taco Tuesday, isn't it? If you guys do want to be like the nicest people in the entire world, I'm not using OBS right now though, but I'll have my phone up. You can buy me a taco if you go to buymeacoffee.com/Melanie Diane. I like tacos. I like coffee, but not at this time of day. I like tacos and cocktails when it comes to afternoon, right? But Luis, that's awesome. If I were using OBS, it would put a big old alert up for y'all and it would be way fun, but that's not gonna happen today because OBS is broken for me today. But okay, I know I wanna find another question. I know I saw another question before that one. I'm almost positive. So I'm just scrolling up here real fast. I'm looking for, somebody asked 2 questions actually. Oh, the real RJ Sandifer, who may not even be watching anymore. You asked for my Facebook group link. All you have to do is actually go search Facebook. Just search DIY Marketing with Melanie, and you'll find that Facebook group. That's where you can join. It is a free group. And as long as you answer the questions, I will let you in. Okay, hold on. I know I had somebody asked me a couple questions that I want to make sure I grab. This is the part of my streaming process that I don't love. But that's because I don't use a producer to help me, which would be amazing. But I'm doing it all by myself. Okay, here's the question. Mark asked this question: what's your take on polling an audience with 2 or 3 possible live schedule times? I actually did this myself in my Facebook group, and the results basically said there was no answer. Everyone said, I think I said, does it matter to you? Do you prefer a particular day of the week? And then there was, do you prefer morning, afternoon, evening? And then I literally let people say it doesn't really matter. And almost everybody said it didn't really matter. But that's my audience. I do think it's great to ask your audience, hey, when do you want to hear from me? Just be ready. And here's what I would suggest. I would suggest you give them options and make sure you do not include an option that you are not willing to fulfill. Because, for example, I will never give the option, hey, do you guys want me to go live consistently weekly, Tuesdays at 7 a.m., noon, 2 p.m., or 9 p.m.? There are 2 times in that slot that I am willing to say yes to. So if everybody picked the 2 times that I'm not willing to say yes to, what am I supposed to do? Be like, oh, thanks for your feedback, but that ain't going to happen? That's kind of like not very nice. So make sure that you offer times that you're willing to fulfill. Mark, that was who I was looking for. Mark asked another question. I know he did. Oh, it's gone. Because y'all are so engaged, right? You guys like my hair? You guys are awesome. I can't do that with my hair. You might be surprised, CK. You got to cut it short, though. You got to cut it short. Okay, this is a funny question that is, Anthony says, I love your content mastery. Are you going to write a book? So, Anthony, I do think someday I will write a book. My garage door just opened. Somebody's here. So I am going to write a book. Okay? I don't know what the hell my book's going to be about, but I actually think I may write a book with somebody. I may partner up with somebody and write a book about live videos, right? That could happen. The door opened and the door closed, which is really funny. Totally fine. So I actually would love to write a book. The process of writing a book sounds intriguing, insightful, and terrifying all at the same time, actually. So that's actually one of those funny things where I honestly, I think I will eventually write a book one day, but again, it's got to be something that you are your heart's into. But I've been thinking about collaborating with a friend and writing a book similar to Crystal's book in format about live videos. But I also want to write something that's not, I think I want to write about something that's and eventually when I actually write my own book by myself, it's going to be something probably a little bit deeper, right? Just because that's probably what's going to happen. But, we'll see what happens. Have you written a book? He says, thumbs up. I like it. Oh, CK just dyed her hair. Woo, not going to cut it anytime soon. Yeah, I wouldn't do that either, right? I think I got to all the questions for today. And I do need to figure out what's going on with my child, but it's all good. Here's the thing. I'll be live again next week. We're going to jump in again next week, Tuesday at 2 o'clock. The only thing that I didn't cover that's in my little note here is that we talked about consistency a lot, but I also think spontaneity is also valuable to your audience. I think you can be spontaneous in content. I also think that as long as you're consistent and you have that core consistency, the spontaneous stuff is going to feel like the bonus stuff. So if you have something and you're like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to share this with my audience, and you don't want to wait until next Tuesday or whenever your show is, go live. Do a bonus live. Be spontaneous. And here's the thing I'll tell you about those spontaneous live shows. They don't have to be the same format as your other shows. Be mobile. Grab your phone. Do what Luria calls a live stream. where you just grab your phone and you're just going live and you're live on your phone and you're just live stream. I actually used to do more of those when I wasn't as consistent because that's how I showed up inconsistently. But now I'm like, I want to go live more. One of the shows that I've been playing around with is a show that is called Melon Friends. And it's like just me and like any of you or any of my business besties. And just we get on and we talk about other stuff. The reason I haven't done that yet is because I don't want to just have a show that's random just to have a show. So I want to sort of think through that theme a little bit. But again, that would be more of one of those show types that's probably going to hit your guys' desires of just that kind of casual stuff. These are like, ooh, I'm taking notes. It's tactical. It's stuff that I'm learning. But those other shows, Melon Friends, could be kind of fun to be like, CK, come on the show. Let's talk about your move. What's going on with you? And then CK can also share some value about what she shares value about. James Hicks can come on the show and we can geek out about tech. Crystal can come on and we can talk about the struggles of being a mom at home and whatever, right? I want to just talk about I want it to be a conversation. So like cocktails and conversation, Melon Friends, what should we call this show, right? And I know like my friend James he's kind of in that same thing. He's like exploring something similar, right? I'm trying to figure out, I want to have another show per week and I want it to be consistent, but I also want to be live on those spontaneous moments. And I think you should do the same thing. It's also those spontaneous streams, but I will tell you, those are great opportunities for you to explore like your creativity, try new things because it's spontaneous. It's not part of your core content or your core show. So it's totally like you can try it out, right? And then if it hits and sticks and you enjoy it, be like, ooh, now I might make that a show. So I like the spontaneous streams because the expectations from your audience actually come down a little bit. And so when you're spontaneous, you don't have to be as buttoned up. You don't have to feel dressed up, whatever it is you feel you need to feel to go live. You can actually let go of some of that and try new things because it's a once and done. It's a one-off, right? So also leave a little room for spontaneity in your content as well. So, okay, my friends, you guys are awesome. I love it. Melon Friends, not Melon Friends. That's good. I was called Melon Head a lot when I was a kid. I always thought it was really a funny nickname for people. So CK, I'll see you next week, right? I'll see you next week. And I'm excited. So Anthony, it was awesome that you were here. Thank you for tuning in the whole time. I think this is one of your first live shows that you've caught over here. And you were awesome. You were great in the comments, very helpful and supportive to the community. So welcome to the show. And also just thanks for being here and engaged the whole time. CK, you too, sister. You were here the whole time like a champ. Right? Crystal, we should talk about writing a book. I like it. Let's do it. That would be a fun book, actually. Okay, you guys, I do have to get going, and I hope that you guys have an awesome rest of your day and week. And again, you have the Facebook group where you can come hang out with me. So definitely go look for that on Facebook as DIY Marketing with Melanie. Look for that. Also, I am starting to... over on Instagram, it's at Melanie Diane. I am starting to create a little bit more content over there, more in the stories, a little less like strategy and a little bit more mindset stuff. That's some content that I want to be pushing more of. And that's actually where I want to explore some of that creative muscle. So if you kind of are into that and you want to go check that out and hang out with me over on Instagram, you can follow me over there at Melanie Diane, of course. So, okay, my friends, you guys are the best. I got to go find my ending video. There it is. I found it. Okay. I'll see you guys later. I might be live later, just saying, because I got to work on some new graphics. And it's been a while since I've done one of those live hangout sessions. So I don't know, if you're subscribed to the channel, you'll get notified, right? All right, you guys, I'll see you later. Bye.